music just feels so good. You're on to number one.
What is going on? Welcome back, y'all, to Triple Threat FM Radio. I'm your host, DJ Echo, on the Echo Chamber. And I have an amazing singer-songwriter on the phone with me right now. But before we get into that, you know what we got to do? We got to pay bills. Got to always pay bills. So we want to shout out our sponsor, Raise Energy Drink. Go to www.reppsports.com and use the code at the end, DJ Echo. For 15% off the entire purchase. Raise Energy Drinks, no carbs, no calories, no sugar, 100% energy, and no crash. Raise Energy Drinks and Echo Entertainment, raise up and rock out. There's a lot of stuff to say there, but it's time to get down to the reason why we are all here. I have on the phone singer-songwriter Katie Louise. Katie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm excited to have you on the show. We've locked this in for almost a month now. So I'm super excited to have you on the show with me. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's just dive right in, right?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So, how long have you been singing?
So I've been singing. For as long as I can remember. I grew up in a musical family. My mom was like the music director at our church, and she was a piano teacher. And but I was so good at piano. Like, piano was really my first instrument, so I kind of sang here and there. I didn't really start like really seriously, really like taking my singing seriously until like I was probably about 17 though.
Okay. Okay. Well, you said you grew up in church. When did you start playing piano? Like when did that start?
Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid, my mom. It's funny. My brother played violin, and I just like my older brother. I just wanted to be like him, and I asked my mom if I could play violin. My mother, being the piano teacher that she was, she said, "Well, if you want to play violin, you have to play piano."
Okay.
So then, when I was like 6, she started giving me piano lessons, which really was like she gave me one piano lesson and then kind of forgot about it. Right. So I just started teaching myself.
Wow. Okay.
And then when I was about 10 years old, my older sister, wanted to get into piano lessons again. So she took my older sister to piano lessons, and I kind of was just like dragged along as like the second thought.
Right.
And like I remember my first piano lesson, I like cried. And I thought my teacher was really, really mean.
Right.
And then, a few, like 3 years later, the same teacher was telling me that like I should go to conservatory, or I should start to do piano for a living, because she said I was so talented. And then she just like yelled at my older sister for not practicing. So it was kind of a flip of the switch there.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, did learning piano help you when you started to go to start wanting to sing? When it came to like knowing notes and all that stuff?
Really, it's funny. Like, I remember being like a little kid, like an 8-year-old kid, like writing songs in my basement. But I don't know what I was doing. I was just fooling around. I always had like that music in me, but I was so good at piano, and my teacher like kind of swept me away into like the classical world. So really, my background, I was always interested in singing,
right.
but I really was very talented at piano. So like I was being entered into piano competitions, and I was, I auditioned for the Empire State Youth Orchestra. I don't know if you're familiar with SEO. Yeah, we like played in Carnegie Hall, and like I was in this whole, I took a couple lessons from professors at Juilliard and Manhattan School of Music. Like I was swept away in this whole classical world. So even though like I was always kind of writing songs and kind of like I liked to sing on the side, because I was so good at piano, like I was just so strongly encouraged to do that. So I kind of always like ignored this other part of me that really wanted to be a singer-songwriter.
Right. Was there a point where you had to where you almost like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with the piano, and you like, just because you spent so much time, so much effort, so much of your life playing piano, was there ever a point where you were like, well, maybe singing isn't for me, I should just stick with piano playing?
Well, it was more the opposite. Like, I never really, it was always like, let's do piano, let's like piano, and there was a point where I was like, you know what, maybe I don't want to be a concert pianist, maybe I want to be a singer. Yeah. That's kind of how it was, but it was good because now, like, don't get me wrong, I love to play piano. Like, it is just the most satisfying thing when you can play all these notes and it feels good on your fingers. Right. And so what I really do now is I just try to couple it with my songs. You know, like my album Unleash, the title track Unleash, there's like this epic piano solo in the middle where I'm just like running up and down the piano, and that's really fun. So now I kind of like I couple it with like my pop songs today, and it kind of makes me that unique artist. Okay.
Now, so your brother did guitar. Did your older sister ever did she ever go forth with playing piano, or she kind of just dropped that ball and just went to something else?
Yeah, like I think she played, I don't know, she probably played until like, I don't know, halfway through high school or something, and then eventually she stopped doing it. She married a musician though, and like I think she tinkers around every once in a while, but no, she doesn't really do that anymore. Okay.
Does anybody in your family sing? I mean, everyone plays. It seems like everybody plays some sort of instrument, but does anybody?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, my mother, she, for a while she was a music director at her church. She hasn't done that in a long time. So she like directed a choir and she sang. And my brother, he kind of like, you know, wrote some of his own songs and recorded. I don't know if he ever published anything, but he used to write songs and sing a bit. And then you got my sister's husband, so my brother-in-law, he's very, very musical. He actually has put out some music, and you know, he would do open mics and stuff. Like, he kind of performs a little bit every once in a while, but it's just kind of like a hobby, a fun hobby for him. I'm the only person who's really pursuing it as like my, you know, primary source of income, you know, like a career.
And you still incorporate, like you said, for the song Unleash, but I mean, you still incorporate your piano playing in most of your songs, right?
Yeah, definitely some more than others, but for sure I do. Gotcha. And then even when I do covers, sometimes I put some like my own twist on it.
Nice. Okay, do you remember what the name of your first song was? Even if it wasn't published, like your first song, you're proud of it, you looked at it for like an hour, and it was like you were smiling and crying and happy and all that stuff. Like,
my first song ever, I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I know the first song that I decided this is good enough to release. Okay. Sometimes it gets blurry in my head. I don't know if it was Broken or Imprisoned in Paradise. And those both are on my first EP. I think I was kind of writing them around the same time in high school. I was like 15 or 16 when I was writing them. Right. So those are definitely like my first ones. Okay. And I think when I wrote Broken, that was kind of like what I really was thinking. You know, I really should pursue songwriting, because I'd be practicing Chopin, Beethoven, all my like classical pieces, and then I just like my mind would start to like stray away, and I would just be writing these songs randomly when I was supposed to be practicing. Gotcha. Right. So,
all right. So, talking about writing music, when it comes to writing a song, because everybody's different in how they do it, do you plan out like, okay, I'm gonna write a song, it's gonna be about this, I'm gonna do it on this day, I'm gonna spend this amount of time on it, or is it kind of like, you know, you get inspiration from something, it's kind of like on a whim, like you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my god, I gotta write this down, like how do you, which way do you usually go about?
90% of the time it's on a whim. Nice. Like, it's something that triggers me. And a lot of times the idea or like the concept of a song will be on a whim. And then I will actually sit down and kind of just like work through it, like work
Right.
through the idea, really think about the lyrics. So I kind of do both, because there's definitely times where I schedule like, okay, I'm gonna do like 30 minutes of songwriting today.
Gotcha. Okay.
But a lot of times when I do schedule it, I kind of am going through all these concepts that I've had
Right.
that have come from that spark of inspiration.
All right. When I was out there, when I was writing my own music and when I was writing lyrics, I would write them everywhere. I'd write them on my phone. I'd put them on a napkin, all that kind of stuff. Like, is there like where's the weirdest place you've ever written down like lyrics?
I don't know. You know, right now whenever I write a song, I just put it as a voice memo on my phone.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I stopped writing lyrics down a long time ago because I can write the lyrics down, I come back and I don't remember the melody.
Oh,
you know?
That's true. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so most of the time I just do voice memos on my phone.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. So, who are some of your inspirations when it comes to music?
This question is like the question that's asked at every single interview, and it always makes me laugh because there's so many. Like, there's just so many. So I'll tell you some of the big ones. And I feel like as I just have matured, it changes. Like, when I was younger, like Chopin was probably the first reason I loved music. Like, I just fell in love with music
Now,
because...
hold on, let's stop right there. Okay, so can I just say that is the first time, probably the last, that Chopin is ever going to come up as an inspiration as an answer to this question. So that alone makes you epic. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, take it over, keep going with it.
I mean, it's just, his music is just amazing. Right. I mean, he, like, when you play, I don't even know how to describe it. Right. It's just, especially when you play it, because sometimes I would play his music and I'd be like, how did he come up with this? Right. Like, this is so random. Right. So he was probably my first love. But when it comes to, like, actually, you know, the pop music side of it, you know, the lyrics, I love artists who have clever lyrics, like Taylor Swift, Carly Rae Jepsen. There's this country artist named Kaylee Shore that I'm, like, obsessed with. Okay. But she's kind of, you know, a smaller artist. And, I mean, bigger artist than me, right. But she's a smaller artist. She's not one of those household names. Gotcha. And I love artists that, like, incorporate the piano, too, like Billy Joel. I mean, like, that's always what I want to be, is, like, a modern-day Billy Joel, because he's always doing incredible things on the piano.
It's not a bad name right there.
He's a very clever lyricist, too.
Yes. And his lyrics, I love Billy Joel. His lyrics, like, they stand the test of time. Like, you know, this stuff was relevant back then, but it's still relevant now. People still vibe out to his songs. Like, that's staying power. That's why Billy Joel's Billy Joel. You know what I'm saying? That's because the lyrics just stay. They stay. Okay, Chopin and Billy Joel.
I know, it's right. See, this is
awesome.
Why I never want to be honest with you.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many musicians out there. Like, I'm probably leaving out like 50 musicians, you know?
Right.
I mean, you get influences from everywhere. I mean, everything influences you. And, like, we listen to, like, so much music. I mean, because I'm not going to listen to the same artist for an entire decade, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm constantly listening to new artists, and I grab pieces of inspiration from everywhere, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Under the Sheets. You just dropped the video to this. Now, the song is older, but you just dropped the video to this.
Yeah.
So, first of all, who produced it? The video. We'll talk about the video first. And then
the video?
Yeah.
So, his name is Quentin Witherall. He is an amazing videographer, and he and I grew up together. He's actually produced all the music videos I've done. And, yeah, he's pretty incredible.
Okay, so now this song has to do with mental health, right? Mental health. This is to do with depression. Really, really great video. I mean, honestly, like, very well done. The song is great as well, which is not, I don't want to say it's like funny, but it's like the song was done almost, what'd you say, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So it was released almost 2 years ago, and the fact that the video is out now and it's just perfect. Like they just fit together. Why did you pick that song to do a video to, especially how old it was? Why'd you pick that song to kind of resurrect?
I'll be honest with you, that music video has been done for like a year and a half.
Gotcha.
It was done for a long time, and I think that my depression is actually the reason I didn't release it, because there was a scene where I just felt like it's so dumb, but I'm just like a really real person, so I'm really honest about whatever's going on in my head. Like I thought I looked like too fat in one of these shots, and I was like, man, I just can't. And I kind of just like didn't really decide what to do with it for a really long time. And then I think one day, like, it just really hit me that, like, you know what, like, I'm not a stick figure, I'm not like whatever, but like how important it is for us as women to like not, because I even thought about like, okay, let me like redo these shots and maybe just make this more flattering to me. And then I wasn't living in the same state as Quentin anymore. It wasn't easy. I'm like, you know what, I need to just release this because it's so important for us to put out realistic body images out there.
100% agree. And none of this was retouched.
No,
that was 100% the video that was back then. That's pretty crazy. That's awesome.
And that's why it's come to the table so late. Right. But I really just made this decision. I was like, you know what? There's so many epic elements of this music video. I'm not gonna let this like one thing that's just making me uncomfortable stop me from releasing it.
Well, it's interesting that the topic behind the video is what led to the video just being on the back burner for so long.
Right. Yeah, it's just powerful.
Yeah,
like
and
mental
breaking
health.
through that, which is what you want people to do with the song. You're telling people it's okay to not be okay and to be strong and keep fighting, and you kind of had to do that to kind of push the video out there.
Yeah, and I know with my video, like my music, especially this song, I never like try. At least I've never aimed to like preach at people, like say, like I'll write a song about mental health, and I'm not gonna be like at the end of the song, but it's okay. Like I'm not gonna tell people like what to do, because my goal is to make them feel like listened to and to make them just to like have empathy for whatever they're going through.
Right.
Like I might be like, I'm really depressed. I don't have a solution. That's what's going on right now.
Right. Okay, so let's go over some of the other songs that you have. That you sent me. Now these are all on the EP. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say the name of the song, and we'll do like 3 or 4, and then you give me 2 words that.
Oh wow! Okay.
2 words to describe each of those songs.
All right.
Okay, so let's go with the title. All right, Unleashed. 2 words.
I would say like burdens and release. Those are just like the 2 words that come to mind.
Okay. Don't leave.
So it's called Don't Lean on Me.
I keep messing that up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Don't lean on me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Don't lean on me. It's about my mom, and I just say like anger.
Oh, okay, all right. The song we've been talking about.
You don't really know what to do about that.
That is a whole onion that we'll have a second interview for that one. Okay. Under the Sheets.
So mental health. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty good right there. Okay. And then let me see which else. Damn Good.
Happy and playful.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. Okay. Was there ever, or is there still, or was there ever a plan B? Like if the singing thing did not work or does not work, is there a plan B? And like, to me, I would just say, well, listen, everybody needs a pianist. So there you go. But is there like, you go to college for something, or do you have a trade, or do you have a craft or something like that? Like, is there something, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a plan B, or is like 150% I gotta sing?
Well, when I was, I think I was 13, and I told my dad that I would rather live in a shack and play music all day than do anything else. I think I've always felt so strongly to my core that like life was about living and doing what you wanted to do. Right. Like I just felt that so strongly from a young age. I just didn't want to just do something just for the sake of paying the bills or whatever.
You still agreeing with your 13-year-old self?
Yeah, I do, because I think when you love, I mean, there is a part, I don't know that I'd still live in a shack,
right.
There's, when you love what you do, like, I don't know, like, life is so precious. It's so much more than just having a job. Now, my piano skills, so I've always been a full-time musician.
Right.
I mean, I think, so I moved out when I was 18, and I worked at Starbucks for like 1 year, and it was like Starbucks part-time, and I played music for a church part-time.
Gotcha.
And when I was 19, I quit Starbucks, and ever since then, I've been a full-time musician doing random stuff. And so there's so much to what you can do with music. So like, I have a handful of piano students right now. It's not my main source of income. Right. My main source of income right now is playing in restaurants and singing. But with every kind of like step that I've made, like, I played for church at one point. That wasn't my passion. Right. That's not what I really wanted to do, but it was music, and just the fact that I could get paid to do music was awesome. Okay. So kind of like each career move, it has always been in music, but it's been closer and closer to really what I want to do.
Which is live, breathe, wake up to it, sleep with it. Like, that's it. Just music all day, every day. No side jobs, no nothing.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is all music every day. Like, that's what I've been doing for 5 years. But I would say that, like, my perfect thing would be to be 100% an original artist. So my dream job would be to be in a cycle of recording music, writing songs, releasing music, and then going on tour, and then coming back home and doing it again. Gotcha. So that's kind of what I'm working towards, and I've been able to do kind of like a little bit of that, but I'm not to the point where it can totally sustain me without me just doing like, the regular restaurant gigs and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so talking about the quote-unquote restaurant gigs, what's been like your most impactful like experience at one of those events? Open mic, coffee house, restaurant, like what's been the most impactful to you?
Well, I did some ticket-based shows in New York where I brought in like, a little over 100 people, and those were awesome. Is that what you're asking? It's not quite a restaurant gig, but
well, no, just any type of event.
Any performance?
That's been impactful to you. Like you were like, wow, this is amazing. Like one of those type of like experiences.
I always had great experiences when I did performances from like my different shows, when I sold tickets in New York, because I really have like a really awesome loyal fan base in upstate New York that would really show up for me. But I will say, so those were really impactful, but I would say that probably one of the best performances I ever had was, and this is kind of silly, but when I was asked to sing the national anthem at the Times Union Center for the Albany Empire game, and it was like one of their opening night. It was one of their really big games, so the whole stadium was really full,
Wow.
And they had this like whole production with the cheerleaders and fire and like all this crazy stuff, and I was brought out, and
did you smash
I didn't
it?
even
Did you smash
I think so.
it?
There's a video of it.
Oh, I gotta find this. You gotta send me the link.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yes.
And it's so funny, the video, this is kind of getting off topic, but my sister came with me, and they told me, you know, because they have all their professional videographers on TV, right? They're like, oh, we'll send you, you know, the video, and I'm so excited for this, like, professionally well-recorded video, but I brought my sister with me, and I'm like, Sarah, you have to get a video of this, just in case they don't actually send it to me. Just in case, and they never sent it to me. So I have my sister's video that she recorded on her phone.
Thank God for sisters.
I know. But anyway, I remember starting to sing, and, you know, people normally cheer during the national anthem, and I got like 3/4 of the way through the song, and I'm like, I feel like no one's cheering. Like, maybe I suck. And then I hit one note, and then the crowd like erupted. Nice. And I have never sung in front of like 10,000 people before. That's a lot of people. Yeah. And the noise that they were making for how excited they were, like, ran through the ground, and I felt like the ground underneath my feet shaking.
Wow, that's impactful. That's impactful right there. Yes.
I remember thinking in my head, like, because I work really hard, and I've grinded for a long time, and it's hard to keep pushing and working that hard for years. And I remember thinking in that moment, like, this is why I work so hard, because there's so few people who get to experience the feeling that I'm experiencing right now, and this is like what life is about, like living for this moment.
Oh yes, I gotta get a link. You gotta send me that link. I gotta see this. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Shout outs and social media information. So shout out the team, producers, helpers, the family, your dog, whomever. Shout everybody out, and then go over how our listeners can follow and find you on social media.
Yeah, I'll probably, you know, if I have to shout out anybody, I mean, I already talked about Quentin. He's a great videographer, but I would definitely shout out my husband, because he is like the rock behind everything. And he's not a musician, but he actually, when I was in New York, he booked like 100 shows for me in 1 year. Like, he just stepped up and became my manager, and he like,
brother, go ahead.
yeah. He's not, like I said, he's not musical at all. And, you know, I told him, we live in Los Angeles now. I told him that I wanted to move here to pursue my dreams, and he gave up his career in New York, his family in New York. He gave all that up and restarted his career here just to like help me pursue my dreams. So, awesome. I'm really lucky to have somebody who's not just like mildly supportive, but really like stands 100%. Behind me, and I'm really, really lucky, because I think it's really hard to find a partner like that. So
you are correct. And then social media.
Yeah, if you want to find me on social media, so my website is iamkatielouise.com. So iamkatielouise.com. And I Am Katie Louise is also my handle for anywhere you want to find me. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I don't do much on Twitter, but Instagram and TikTok, even Facebook, my handle is just I Am Katie Louise, so you can find me with that.
Okay. Final question. I love asking this question to everybody, because you always get a little bit of a nugget to take home with me. So, one piece of advice that you use on a daily basis.
Well, I will say that I went through really depressive, like I said, I've opened up, I've said I struggle with depression, which a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. I feel like half the people I meet struggle with depression, so I'm not like unique or anything. But last year I was in counseling, and even if you're not depressed but you struggle with motivation, I went through a state where I really had a hard time getting myself to do things. And what really, really helps me, because also, if you pursue something like this, you have to work hard. You got to work hard. Yep. And it's hard to work hard every single day, because some days you just don't feel motivated. But the best piece of advice is that I got from my therapist was make a goal for yourself that you know you'll be able to do that day. So if you're having a terrible day, you just push yourself a tiny bit. Like maybe it's just, I'm going to take a shower today. You do that. And then you're having a great day and you say, I'm going to do these 3 things because I know the way I'm feeling today. I know it's the time I got. I'm going to be able to do those 3 things. So you just push yourself. It's like when you say you're going to do 10 push-ups and then you do 1 more, you know?
Right.
You don't, and if you're feeling crappy, you don't have to push yourself to be like a superstar that day, but you just, that tiny little thing that you can do. And that has helped me, that helped me get out of my depression, and it's helped me to stay motivated and to work hard. So
I like it. Take it day by day. I like it, Katie. I like
it.
I like it. Well, listen. You are amazing. I'm still going back to that Chopin thing. That is awesome. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop talking, and I want you to introduce the song here. I'll let you introduce it. Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your music, and for all my listeners. You know, this isn't like club music, but really, really quality music. So please do me a huge favor, and as soon as this interview is done, go directly to iTunes and just scoop everything up. Katie Louise, the EP is called Unleashed. I'm going to stop talking. You take over. Katie, thank you. Go ahead.
Hey, you're playing Under the Sheets, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the interview. I really, really appreciate it. It was really fun talking to you tonight. This song is called Under the Sheets, and this is one of my just favorite songs that's really just about what you go through in mental health, and it's a song about staying in bed all day, and that's why it's called Under the Sheets.